Hey, Trinity family, it's Pastor Paul with my weekly update. And before I get to the update, I just want to share with you something fun and encouraging that I experienced this past week. For 3 years now, this is now the third year, at the start of every NFL season, there is somebody in the church family or in the Windsor community who wants to bless me with some Giants paraphernalia, New York Giants football team paraphernalia. And once again, it happened this week. This week, I received Giants post-it notes, Giants coasters, and I even got, ready? Watch this. I even got a New York Giants Together Blue t-shirt. It was fun to receive. Every year I look forward to what am I going to get? Am I going to get something? And this year, once again, I was not disappointed. So shout out and many thanks to whoever this mystery gift giver is in the church family or in the Windsor community. It's just so much fun, especially here in Patriots territory, to be wearing some New York Giants clothing is just such a treat. So, with my encouragement this week, I was talking recently with a friend of mine who turned my attention to Psalm 74, which is a psalm of lament, a psalm crying out to God for Him to act in the midst of troubling times. And in verse 9 of Psalm 74, the psalmist says, "We do not see our signs. There is no longer any prophet, and there is none among us who knows how long." I really love that last phrase. There is none among us who knows how long. Isn't that true? Isn't that where we are at right now? We have no idea how long all that we are experiencing is going to go on. But we can call out to God like the psalmist. We can cry out to Him. This is where he ends up. He says, "You need to act, oh God. We have no idea. We are helpless and need you to act on our behalf." So let's continue to pray and call out to Him to act. And we will be faithful to follow Him, to seek out the opportunities that He provides for us. Just like we saw with the conclusion of Acts this past Sunday. The book of Acts has concluded, but the story continues. God is still writing His story in and through us. So let's call out to Him and seek out the opportunities that He gives to proclaim the hope that we have in Christ Jesus. And the opportunities abound. We are seeing Him at work. I'm encouraged by the turnout a couple of Sundays ago for the business meeting. Many thanks to all who were there, who approved these last projects, additional projects, so that the renovations can be wrapped up. Even now, Ron Harrison is up there working uh, on the project there as a volunteer, and so we look forward as we move through this home stretch to seeing the renovations completed, and we can just really enjoy that space. Also encouraged by this past Sunday as we did our official regathering on Sunday morning, had a great turnout for that. We want to be diligent in abiding by the Vermont guidelines and the CDC guidelines. And so many thanks to all who came and wore their masks and socially distanced. And we're going to tighten up a little bit more. And if you reserve your spot, go online and reserve your spot, you're going to see that there are 4 questions that we want you to answer in preparation for coming here on Sunday morning. And then Sunday morning, when you show up and check in, you're going to be asked those same 4 questions again. Just simply to be diligent in making sure that COVID-19 has no place here in the Trinity family, and we are all doing our part in abiding by the regulations that Vermont and the CDC are having in place for us. I'm also encouraged by just the conversations that I've been having in the church family around the issue of race and justice. We had the conversation back in the summer that we were all invited to participate in via Zoom. I paused that conversation, I think it was early August, and it was a pause. Some folks, I think, may have thought that I stopped it, but it wasn't a stop. It was a pause. And it was a pause because it was summer and folks were getting ready to do some vacation time and get away. And I just thought for August we needed just some downtime. I personally needed some downtime in August. I just did not have the bandwidth at that time to continue leading the conversation, but I knew I wanted to resume it. And so I'm looking forward now in the month of October to resume this conversation on Tuesday nights, every other Tuesday night, beginning on October 13th, the conversation around racism, justice, and the role of the church. So I just invite you to mark your calendar. We're going to be having that conversation beginning October 13th, 8 to 9 o'clock, and then every other Tuesday night after that. We want to continue to be in prayer on Tuesday nights, and we want to also just resume this conversation around racism and justice. Stay tuned for more information about that, but I just wanted to put that on your radar. The last thing that I am encouraged in seeing God at work, and we want to seek to follow Him, is with regards to the surplus that we have in our checking account. We've been talking about this now for several months, and the elders and I have been talking about how can we move forward in really discerning the Lord's leading and how to best be stewards of these funds that He has entrusted to us, surprisingly entrusted to us. And the elders and I are in agreement that this is going to be our next step. Ready? This is our next step. Our next step is to take the month of October to pray and fast. I've called the MLT, the ministry leadership team, to do the same, to pray and fast, and we've charged them as well to also discuss with their ministry teams about how God might be stirring them with a vision and some encouraging ways to utilize these additional funds. We're also tasking our teams to not just look internally, but look externally. Where are there ministry partners that we are aware of who are in need of some additional financial help? And what are ways that we can come alongside in generosity outside of Trinity to our ministry partners, as well as inside Trinity, in fulfilling the vision that God is calling us to as we seek to serve Him and His kingdom purposes. This will be going on in October and in November and into December, discerning His leading and having conversations. But we really want to invest now in the month of October in a time of conversation with Him, prayer and fasting and seeking His leading, stirring the soil of our hearts to discern well how He is leading. So I would ask you to do this. Every Tuesday in the month of October, let's take Tuesdays as our day of prayer and then also day of discussion, but Tuesdays as our day of prayer to fast together as a church family and seek the Lord's leading for wise stewardship of these funds that He has entrusted to us. I'll let you decide how you want to fast, if it's fasting from after dinner the night before until dinner on Tuesday evening, or if it's from breakfast Tuesday morning until breakfast Wednesday morning, or if it's simply a fast from some activity or some involvement. Fasting from Facebook would be wonderful. Fast from Facebook and social media for 24 hours and use the time that you would spend on social media seeking the Lord's guidance for us as a church body and discerning how to be wise stewards. Fast in whatever way that you feel is appropriate and sacrificial as you spend Tuesdays in the month of October seeking the Lord's leading for wise stewardship. This is our call as a church family to take the month of October to pray and fast. Join me with that. I look forward to beginning this coming Tuesday and then and just seeing how the Lord leads us. None among us know how long, but we call out to God and seek to follow Him. Let's do this together as a church family. I look forward to worshiping with you this coming Sunday. God bless. I'm praying for you.